Hello, you guys, and thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Journey Podcast, where I am your host, Kiara. Um, Per usual, I'm always excited to see you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. You know I gotta do my little scream. Um, I think after hearing the audio version, just listening to myself talk, while I was working one night a couple of weeks ago, I think that was, I just want to be more intentional, with making sure that the audio part of it is just good and just I want to be intentional with just making sure that you guys get the same effect as the people that are actually watching me on video. And so yeah, I'm just if y'all gonna hopefully y'all give me feedback if you are an audio listener. If you're listening on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Castbox, any of the other platforms that we're on, other than YouTube, because we're on other things other than YouTube. If you have not gotten a chance to check out the website, please do not hesitate to do so. I am going to be updating it this week. And yeah, I hope that you guys like it. I'm gonna update it this week. Sorry, in my downtime. And so, yeah, and also just in case you didn't know, if you only thought that you could only listen to the audio version, maybe you don't have a YouTube account or you don't use YouTube, whatever the case may be. Um, if you go on the website, you can see the latest video on the website. So today's video is going to be on the website up until Thursday. So you have a chance to recommend it to a friend. The website is thejourneypodcast.life. And yeah, just let me know, guys. Again, I appreciate you all for all the feedback that you guys have given me throughout the weeks. In this rebranding journey, it's actually just been like so reassuring for me, and I definitely have been needing that. And so I'm grateful for you all. Make sure you're sharing with your friends and family members, those that you like, don't like, all the things. Just share it with them. But let's go ahead and get into this week's episode. Just for a little recap, Thursday on Talk About It Thursday, we were talking about grieving the old versions of yourself. Last Sunday, we were talking about how there's not much soft about rebranding and the healing journey. And so we're just going to go ahead and continue on in what we were talking about. Today, we're talking about the depression that you experience. And I'm just going to share a little bit about some of my experiences. In my rebranding journey, because this is not the first time I've rebranded. You rebrand like as you outgrow each version of yourself. Like, we're made to grow, so as you outgrow every version of yourself, you have to rebrand and you have to show up differently, and you want to show up differently, or whatever the case may be. And so sometimes you do definitely experience like a depression, and so we're going to get into that. So first things first, of course, I'm going to give you guys a definition of depression because I like to make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay. So depression. What is depression? Depression is a serious mood disorder causing persistent sadness, loss of interest, and affecting how you feel, think, and handle daily activities like sleeping, eating, and working, going beyond normal mood swings and requiring treatment for management. Some symptoms include, hold on, hopelessness, fatigue, concentration issues, instability, and sometimes thoughts of self harm, often lasting for weeks or months and impacting functioning. It's a common treatable illness influenced by biological, psychological, and environmental factors, and it's not a weakness. Um, in my own words, depression for me, um, depression for me is a feeling. And we have control over it. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes it can cause you to have suicidal thoughts. But in my rebranding, I did not experience that in a recent rebranding that I did, where I just wanted to show up differently. Depression looked like overworking myself, trying to just stay busy so I don't have time to think or feel, or process thoughts or feelings or whatever. And it pushed me into a place where I was not able to process my thoughts, and process feelings. So when something hurt my feelings, I was so numb that I just couldn't even. I was just like, oh, it's good. It's all good. Don't worry about it. When really it was not all good. I'm just gonna use, for example, and I'm not gonna give any names or any timelines or anything like that. When I was in a relationship that sent me into a deep depression because I did not know how to function after the relationship ended. And so I wanted to, it sounded good to tell myself that I gave myself time, like I spent time alone, but really I was entertaining um or prospecting a potential relationship, or just like ready to jump into another relationship. Um and there's no time limit on going from one relationship to another. If you're ready, then you're ready. But obviously, I wasn't ready because I got into the new relationship really unhealed, because I didn't know that I needed healing. And so from the previous relationship, I had gotten to I was numb. So the first sign of happiness, I clinged on to it, which is natural because when you're in a dark place, any glimpse of light, you're just like, ah, light. Oh my God, let me go get it. It's gonna be great. And so while I wanted to while I wanted to go to that place where it was like I shared so much about the previous relationship. It was like, wow. And I wouldn't say that the person in the new relationship was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that same stuff to you. But it was more so like, oh well, you like, okay, you got a high tolerance or whatever. I don't know what their thought process is, and well, I didn't know what their thought process was. I can't say that the new person was like, oh. So in that relationship lasted a while, and then it looked like I was back in the same space. So I was like, okay, hold on. I keep revisiting this place where I started to feel like maybe I should have been, like I should be alone. Like I wasn't a person that needed to be in a relationship because um I would allow so much to happen in a relationship before I was done with the relationship that I didn't know, like, that I just would just, okay, all right, next, next. And I would just move on. And I would move on, and I would always be numb in moving on. And I didn't know how to feel. I got to a place where I was numb, and then I taught myself how to just not feel, and then I didn't know how to process my feelings, didn't know how to process my thoughts. And so a lot of the times, um when I was hurt, it would just appear that I was angry. And I cheered for myself when I was like, dang, you ain't cried in a minute. Like you. And I personally am a very emotionally person. Come on now, girl. A very emotional person. So, um, I used to get teased for crying a lot. So the fact that I wasn't crying, I didn't even realize how hurt I was. I didn't, that pillow over there is bothering me. I don't know why I'm letting it bother me, but y'all probably see me looking at it. But anyway, sorry. Squirrels. um, I didn't know how to feel, and I didn't know how to process feelings. And so a lot of the times when I was hurt, it would appear that I was angry. And to avoid thinking about it, avoid feeling, I would work so hard. My reason for why I was working is, oh, I just want to make sure I don't have to ask anybody for anything so that I could take care of my kids. And really, I was just avoiding real life. I was avoiding my thoughts and feelings. And I didn't want to say that I was depressed, but I realized that that is a form of like, hold on. I want to make sure I'm telling you guys the right thing. Um, let's see. High functioning depression. That's when someone seems okay outwardly but struggles internally with persistent sadness, fatigue, and stuff like that. So they're just not happy, but they seem like they're happy because on the outside, but really they're like dealing with so much that they don't and sometimes guys we don't even realize that we are depressed. Depression not only is shows up as like you just overworking yourself and just trying to keep yourself busy, but it also shows up as just you being extremely tired, fatigue, where to the point where just all you're doing is sleeping, and you're not the sleep is not fulfilling the fact that you were tired, so it's a tiredness that sleep can't even fix, which which is just it's hard because like I said, you don't identify it as depression. You're just like, oh girl, I'm just tired, when really um maybe you need to process. I'm no like doctor or anything. Dr. Kier. That sounds cute. But then no, I'm not a doctor or anything. But maybe you need to deal with your feelings and process your feelings and your thoughts. Um, Sometimes we move on too fast. Um, sometimes we just avoid feeling, and that is not good because now you're like I said, for myself, I appeared as just this angry girl. Like, dang, she always mad, or um I would overwork myself to the point where it was like, girl, go home and get some sleep. You're here more than the people that own the place. Like, just go ahead and get some sleep. And so, and I would sleep and endlessly, where I was just overly tired, and I just was functioning. And so, as I got into the new relationship, it was like, for me, it was like, oh, okay, this is good. This is a good place or whatever. But things started to get um, where we were fussing about stupid stuff all the time, and it just would be silly. It would just be silly all the time, and just be like, come on now, what are we arguing about? And so it would just be a lot of foolishness, and it just was like, and so when I got to a point where I started to rebrand myself, because some of the things weren't foolishness, some of the things were, I would just let a lot slide in that relationship. It was just crazy. So I just let a lot slide, and then when I started to rebrand myself, I rebranded myself in that relationship, and I had to teach myself again how to feel, how to process my feelings, how to process my thoughts, and how to share my thoughts and feelings so that I could allow him to effectively love me. So when I first started saying, "Hey, I don't like that," he was like, you used to didn't care." But and I had to tell him, like, I don't care what I used to do. Don't tell me but used to. Right now, I don't like that. And so, yeah, you need to act accordingly, or you can act out the door. I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you. And so, and I started creating boundaries too. I started to create boundaries. It was like a soft creation of boundaries. It wasn't like a full on, like, I was consistent and I stood on business or whatever. It wasn't like that. It was just that, I started saying little things and I felt good about it. However, I was easily gaslighted. And so I would think like, dang, well, you know what? He's right. I did used to let him. I'm gonna just keep, no! Girl, get out my face. And so I had to discipline myself, because what in the world, like, what example are you setting for people? The same respect that you give yourself, when you don't have boundaries for yourself and you don't have respect for yourself, how do you expect to request that from somebody else? Girl, please. That's the first thing that they think. Girl, please. You don't even like yourself. You want me to like you. Like, and it's just so crazy because here we are wanting more, wanting others to give us more than we're willing to give ourselves, and we're not setting we set the example, we set the tone, for what we receive. I'm showing you I don't play that. Then you come to me differently, you approach me differently, you approach me with caution. And so, um I'm looking at my notes too, guys, so forgive me for the pause, those that are just listening to the audio. um Rebranding yourself can send you into a point where you're where you start to deal with depression, because a lot of the times you find yourself alone, and I talked about this in a previous episode. You find yourself alone, you find yourself not surrounding yourself with some of the people that it was just, it felt safe to be around them. And then when you get to a point where you're realizing all the things that you don't like, all the things, when you start feeling and you stop allowing people to run over you, like sometimes you kind of feel guilty, like, man, maybe I should not switch up. Maybe I should not change. And this is like a little voice in your head to tell you, like, you don't deserve this next version of yourself. Do you really? Do you? It's easier to just be that old version of yourself when really, is it, that other version of yourself comes with a lot of stress, a lot of depression, a lot of being used, a lot of and not just being used by a partner, being used by friends, people that you think are your friends. They're so used to you, like, being overly accessible to them, where they can call you, wake you up out your sleep that you need, and ask you to do something for them. No, no, this is my time for me, to get my rest, to prepare myself for my next shift, or to prepare myself to be a parent to my child, or whatever the case may be. Whatever you're sleeping, I mean, you sleeping because you're tired, but whatever you're preparing yourself, you want to show up in that, in your own fullness. And so, um, yeah, depression, it can look like feeling disconnected from the old version of yourself and unsure about the new version of yourself. So not sure really if, like, man, can you even do you, can are you even capable of being that new version of yourself? Are you even capable of being new? Like, is there more for you? Leaving who you used to be while trying to become someone that's stronger, that's hard. You're thinking about, like, am I even strong enough to be this version? Am I strong enough to show up like that? Um, do I even do I Sometimes a lot of us lack self-confidence. And so without that self-confidence, like, that new version of yourself is confident, and in your mind you know that you know that you're fully capable of whatever it is, whatever your creative is. You're fully capable of that art, of that, writing, or whatever it is, that entrepreneurship, that leadership position, whatever the case may be. You're fully capable of it, and you're just scared, and so that sends you into depression. You're watching everybody around you, you're comparing your journey, your path, to others' path, and others are only sharing, they're only sharing the highlights. They're not sharing, in the valley of the shadows of death, where they feared evil. They're not showing that. They're showing you social media. I'm telling you, social media can be, uh, oh my God. Social media can really set you up for failure, or set you up for depression, because you're seeing people live the life that you know that you're capable of getting to. They're not fully showing the process. Sometimes they're just leaving out certain things, or they're on their weight loss or their weight gain journey, however the case, whatever the case may be. They're leaving out little essential things, where they're only showing you the glamorous part of it, and they're not really showing you what what the trenches look like. And so without that, you're comparing your path and you're comparing your journey to theirs, and it's like, man, I should I should be there, or oh God, I gotta, it's just like, I gotta get myself together. You're getting yourself together. Like, you are working on yourself, and you're not giving yourself the grace that you deserve, because you've never done this before. And so because you've never done this before, um it's new. Every time you start something new, you're the new kid. And so that's fine. It's okay to be the new kid. 'Cause guess what? Somebody else is going to need your journey. Somebody else is going to need to see what you've been through. They're going to need to see that depression. And they're going to need to see you in the trenches, in the valley of the shadow of death, where you were fearing evil. um, Sometimes depression shows up as losing motivation for things that you once loved, even the things that you're building. So sometimes those things that you're working on, When you get depressed, it's just like now you're overworking yourself. Well, you don't even have time to put time into what your dreams are. Time into this new version of yourself, and so now you're overthinking every decision. Like, is this really me? Like, is this, do I really deserve this? Can I really do this? They're gonna compare me to other people that are successful in this role, and I could never be them. And this, you telling yourself that. And sometimes, guys, we are our own enemy. We cause ourselves to go into depression because we talk ourselves out of growing. We talk ourselves out of healing. We talk ourselves out of becoming a new version of ourselves. And um, sometimes your worst enemy is yourself. You know, it's not what somebody else said, what auntie said, mama said. It's not even what they said. It's sometimes it's what you're saying to yourself. And so that's why I had to make it normal that I made positive affirmations for myself. um and I really try to do it on a weekly basis versus a daily basis, where I focus weekly on an affirmation. And I tell myself all week, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am capable of these things. I tell myself the same few things every single day in that week's time until or not even a week's time. Sometimes I say it to myself until I actually believe it. It's like I'm beating it in my head. And so rebranding doesn't erase depression. Sometimes it just exposes the fact that that you are like misguided. You just are just like, the navigation system is down. I don't know where I'm growing. That sounds, I like that. I like to I know I probably said this before. I like to replace going with growing. I don't know where I'm growing. And sometimes we don't know where we're growing because we don't know exactly what it is, what this new version of ourselves look like. And it's scary, it's foreign, and it's okay. It's okay. But make sure that on your journey you're capable of processing thoughts and feelings, and so forth and so on, you so that you can know what it is, um so that you just know how to navigate through it, really. And so depression isn't always a sign that something is wrong. It can be a sign that something old is ending. So just like we were talking about grief, um that old dying to the old version of yourself, you are going to grieve. When somebody or something dies that you loved once before, um, grief does come with that. And so that can send you into a depression, but that doesn't mean that something is wrong. That means, because like I said, you're grieving the old version of yourself and becoming a new version of yourself. Um, and I also want to say, guys, in that time, when you are becoming that new version of yourself, it's like being in a delivery room when you're having a baby. When you're having a baby, everybody can't be in a room while you're pushing or while you're having that surgery, the cesarean section. Everybody can't be in the room. And because everybody can't be in the room, everybody's not, some people have to sit out in the waiting room until everything is together. The baby's all cleaned off. Everybody can't see the baby with all the stuff that was in the stomach with the baby. They got to wipe the baby off and clean the baby up, make sure the baby vitals is right, and all the things. They got to make sure the baby is right before people come seeing it through the window. Ooh, they got to make sure you are the baby. You are being born. The old version of yourself is the mother. Um, and that push, that that pressure that you're feeling in surgery, that's you going through. Ooh, I'm talking good now. Stop. The old version of yourself, and men, see it like this. When if you have children, if you don't have children, that's fine. I'm pretty sure y'all don't watch Birthday, and y'all don't y'all know what the process is to having children. And so you gotta push, you gotta, or if you're a man, you've seen pregnant people, you've experienced pregnant people at some point. And if you haven't, please, after this video, go and watch somebody, just watch some kind of birth something. I don't care if it's an animal giving birth. When you giving birth, you are, you fatigue, you down. You got to hold on now. I don't even want nobody around me right now because I'm so focused on getting this baby out. I don't want to hear it. Scram. I don't want everybody around me while I'm doing this. This is a process, and I'm trying to, whew, you know, I'm trying to get it out. And so even an animal cleans up the baby before the baby get right. Hey, hold on now, let me get you right. You know? And then they present their what came from them. They present that. Look at what I did. Look at who I am. And so you had to go through that process to get the baby out. The baby is that new version of yourself. And so um mm, you know how sometimes people have a baby and then they don't want to post it on social media right away, like, oh, don't show my baby. Wait, my baby gotta get his looks. Sometimes the baby like a little alien, and you don't want to post it on the internet first thing. You gotta let the baby get the looks, y'all. Get the baby with the looks. Post the baby with the looks in a cute outfit. You want to dress it up. You want it to look good. Hey, hold on, new version. Not you looking good. Hold on. Y'all don't know what I've been through to get this baby out. And so the baby is the new version of yourself. And guys, as far as self confidence goes, God brought you to it. If He brought you to it, He'll bring you through it. I believe that wholeheartedly. I really do believe that. Because it's on your heart to do. He didn't put it on your heart because He just wanted something heavy to be on your heart. He put it on your heart for you to start, whatever it is. Maybe start by just making a little bit of time for you to operate in that creative aspect, and just give yourself time. That high functioning depression, when it's kicking in and you just, oh, I gotta work, 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 work. Oh, God will provide. I've seen Him do it. I've been broke before, and I've seen Him fill my house with groceries and all the things that I had need of. I shared this story with you guys about when I moved to Atlanta, and I spent all my money on paying up the rent. I paid up the rent for 3 months, and so I didn't have any money, like any extra money, and I didn't have any food stamps. I didn't have anything really, and my friends, and I just was trusting God. I was like, God, listen, I'm following. I'm being obedient. I'm operating in obedience. I'm doing what it is that I feel like you told me to do, and you got to make this make sense. And so here I was there. My friends. I didn't ask anybody for anything in a relationship and all. I didn't even ask my boyfriend at the time for anything. Didn't ask him for nothing, y'all. I was just crazy, but I was in a my mind was so focused on me just making sure that I could do everything by myself. And so now, yes, I am going to ask him for money because, yeah, come on, let me get that. But I was in a place where I just was like, oh, I don't want to ask him for money. I don't want to seem needy. I don't want to seem like I can't handle my own or whatever the case may be. And guess what? God made it happen. And so I am a firm believer in God will provide, because, like I said, He has done it again and again for me, and my children. And my family on today, like, it's just, when I say God has provided, He has provided endlessly for us. And so I believe that, and He's done it without me like breaking my back, overworking myself or whatever the case may be. But in the end, guys, let's make sure that we're giving ourselves grace through this. You do not have to feel guilty for improving. Don't do that to yourself. You don't have to feel ashamed that success didn't magically happen like it does like it appears to do for those that are on social media. You don't know the work that they put in for them to get to where they are. So don't spend too much time getting caught up in the fact that others are successful faster before you are, not faster. So other than that, I think I'm going to go ahead and close this week's episode up. And I want us to just take like a moment, really. Hold on. So before we go, I just want you guys to take a deep breath with me. In through your nose, out through your mouth. If you're listening to this while feeling heavy, tired, or unsure of yourself, I want you to know that this moment matters. You are not failing because this feels hard. You are not weak because you need rest. And you are not behind because your process looks different. Rebranding yourself isn't just about becoming something new. It's also about releasing what no longer fits, old expectations, old versions, old survival habits, and release can feel like grief before it feels like freedom. Mm. So if today all you did was show up and listen, that's enough. If all you had the energy to do was survive, that's enough too. Place a hand on your heart, if you can, and remind yourself quietly or out loud, I'm allowed to grow at my own pace. I do not have to rush my healing. This season is shaping me, not breaking me. And just tell yourself that. Um, just keep choosing yourself every day. Every day, keep choosing this new version of yourself. Every day, just keep pushing yourself to have that baby. When you're ready, take another deep breath. And as you exhale, release the pressure to be anything other than human. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate your presence. Thank you for trusting the space with your truth. And until next time, I love you guys with my whole heart. Can't wait to see you on Thursday for Talk About It Thursday. If you have not already tuned in to um, last Thursday, please do. Just so everything makes sense and everything just lines up for you. I love you guys. Y'all have a good week. Later. Bye.